Hello, team, and welcome to episode 46 of Creative English Smells Like Beach Spirit. Team, we had a short week and we took advantage to go visit Lisa's godmother in Guarapari. I had never been there. I know I'm not a good mineiro. I should have gone there before, but I was really impressed. What a cool place. The kids loved it. We had a great time, and we will definitely be going back. If you're anything like me, when you travel, sometimes, you think, I'm not going to imagine myself living here. Maybe the opposite. No, no chance of me living here. Maybe it's a good place to visit, but to live, different story. So, team, we're going to be talking a little bit about this, the difference about somewhere you might want to live, where you would like to visit, or maybe somewhere you would like to avoid. We will also be talking about this word like, and I don't mean as in I like coffee. I mean, she looks like her mother. And when we use like to make a comparison. All right. So let's see what we've got. Number one, I asked my students to start by telling me about a classy struggle. Patricia always likes to say that when you're traveling, if you have a problem, smile because at least you're traveling. And I think it's a good attitude. And here in Portuguese, we have a page, an Instagram page, Perrengue Chique. And I'll let you guys pick classy struggle, glamorous hardship, chic problem. I like the classy struggle. But I want you to tell me a story about a time you were traveling and had a classy struggle. One, quick warm up activity. Should get a smile on that face. But our grammar point, Mr. Like. So I've divided this into a few points. And this is the first one, the main one. We use like after verbs to make a comparison. So if I say this looks delicious. Oof, just added that adjective, delicious. I could say this looks tasty, beautiful, delicious as well. Just you can have as many adjectives as you want. But if you add one noun, this looks like a delicious pizza. All of a sudden, I'm making a comparison. And in this case, like is not an option. It's a necessity to make this comparison between two things. And what am I using as a metric? Whatever verb I used. So in this case, the looks, it has this similar characteristic. I could say he plays like Neymar. I'm talking about his soccer abilities. This tastes like chicken. I'm talking about the taste. So whatever verb it comes after is what we're using as a metric to compare. Number two, like at the end of questions. So sometimes I will see my students doing a reverse engineering into the wrong direction. So they might hear, what's that game like? And they're like game? Is it a game I like? And I can guarantee you one thing. If you hear like at the end of the sentence, they're not talking about your preferences. They're asking for a description. And if you see what with like, it's usually more of a describe. And if you see another WH word with like, it's more of a compare. But either way, it is not about your preference. So if you hear that like at the end of the sentence, be aware of that. Number three, similes. Similes are like hyperbolic metaphors where you kind of exaggerate. She is graceful like a ballerina. She didn't let the cup fall. It's not that impressive, but we kind of exaggerate. Strong like a lion, or play soccer like Neymar. Okay, I get it. The boy's good. So we can use like, or we can use as, as graceful as. I like to say in Portuguese, aspas, because you open with one as and you close with the other one. But to make a simile, which is kind of a colorful comparison. And as a bonus point, I think this is useful for my students who maybe have meetings in English. You should always try to avoid asking somebody to repeat themselves. And I know it's unfair. You are studying a second language, and sometimes you didn't catch something. But when you say, oh, sorry, I didn't understand, could you repeat that? Even if the person is fine with it, there is that quick cortisol spike where it's like, now I have to go back and repeat this. Nobody likes it. So a tool you can use is to use like to prove comprehension or to check comprehension. So if somebody says something, you say, oh, like we saw in that last meeting, like the Coca-Cola example, like this in the PDF, or in this example, like the first boss. But one of two things will happen if you do this. A, the person will be like, yeah, that's it. Bingo, you can keep going. Or B, this is no, not exactly. It's like this. And they will give you the correct answer. Either way, you've avoided making them repeat themselves. So I think this is a better option when possible. All right. Team, next up, a little game that we had a lot of fun with, Visit, Live, Avoid. You might have played the game Kill, Kiss, Marry in school, where you pick three names. I know it's kind of mean, but kids are kids. But we are going to be doing this with locations. And I have, well, I'm not going to show you the list, but I picked this. I made my list. You can use your own example, especially if you know who you're playing with. But you have three cities, countries, locations, and the person needs to pick one where they would visit, one where they would live, and one where they will avoid. So, of course, for the English practice, ask a why. Explain why you chose this so that you can speak for a couple of seconds in English, and that's your English practice for the day. So, our talking point was book review, guys. You know, my favorite is these fantasy, sci-fi, and I love this book. It's, you know, I'm more on the older side of the adventure spectrum, so I identified with it. This is some ex-adventurers who get the band back together for one last quest, and it's very cool. They do a lot of kind of rock band comparisons, and it doesn't take itself too seriously, so definitely a recommend. Team, that's what I've got for you. You go to Guarapari, order this chicken. Thank you, and I hope to see you in class. Have a good one.